afternoon, good morning, good everything, everyone. This is the Checking the Gate podcast. I am your host, Douglas Ferguson, and we have with me today
Mason. Hello.
Hello, Mason. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's been so long since we recorded. You and I together.
It's funny because we just finished recording an episode. We watched a movie, now we're recording another one.
This is my third podcast of the day.
You are a very busy person.
What this does is it gets a lot of it out of the way.
Yeah.
So that I can just take my time to edit.
Mm-hmm.
And I can release these finished episodes kind of nice and steadily. And so, like, this could be a couple months down the road from when we're recording that it's released. Because, I mean, I want to space everything out. Yeah, four podcasts in less than 24 hours.
Congratulations.
Wow. I am a podcast churning machine. Apparently, I just love to talk.
Yeah.
Just sit here and just blah, 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 blah.
Okay, shut up.
Hey, this is your idea. This movie.
I'm joking.
I know. We're all about the JKs and the LOLs here at the Checking the Gate podcast.
And the raffles.
Oh, well, yeah, the occasional raffle. Usually they take off so well it's a whole full-out raffle copter.
It's actually how I get around in the raffle copter.
He can't drive, so he just says raffle, 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 and then he spins around and he lands and hopes that it's close to where he wanted to.
It's quite the sight.
God, we're ridiculous.
Yes.
We might even say that we're a little absurd.
Oh.
As I segue into things. Mason, please tell us, what movie are we covering? What movie is it that you insisted we cover in this podcast?
Zombie strippers!
In this small Nebraska town, a secret government project has gotten out of control, and a deadly virus has been unleashed into the city's hottest nightclub. So tonight, when the sun goes down, things really start to heat up. Every man's fantasy is about to become...
What seems to be the problem, Doc?
Believe it or not, zombies.
Holy shit.
their worst nightmare. Robert Englund, Janet Jameson.
Either got it or you don't, baby.
But what about the girls, huh? They're good girls.
They're zombies.
No. They're strippers.
They're zombie strippers.
Zombie strippers. Well, to give you guys a bit of a backstory here.
Yes.
Mason's been
persistent,
campaigning.
Yes.
For me to watch your zombie stripper. I hold like regular movie nights. B movie nights.
B-movie nights.
B-movie nights.
It's not just like a movie night where, you know, you go and expect to see some quality cinema. I made that mistake once.
Yeah.
There are specifically B-movie nights.
Yeah.
Now, Doug, how about you, in case there's people in the audience who aren't aware, can you tell us what a B-movie is?
Well, the origin of the term B-movie comes from the days when people would go to see double features.
Yes.
There was the A reel, which was a standard Hollywood studio released movie, and then the B reel was the B movie, which was much more low budget, harder to take seriously, not a lot of like backing for that one. But B movies have it's kind of a broader thing now because the market's changed a bit. Now it could just be low budget. Now it could be kind of intentionally cheesy, but like basically not big budget pictures.
Yeah.
Usually something a little more ridiculous.
Like
usual.
Roger Corman's.
Roger Corman is classic B-movie.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like, it could be something... B-movie classic, a modern B-movie classic is The Room.
Yep.
Although that was actually a way bigger budget than most B-movies. It just happened to turn out really crappy.
Okay. So, back to the story. Doug holds these regular B-movie nights.
Yes.
He has for as long as I've known him, which is, like, more than 10 years now.
I think, believe it or not, it was my friend Ian Jones who started the B-movie nights.
Okay.
And I just sort of carried the torch because I guess I found myself to be more passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of bad movies,
yeah.
folks, but also a lot of real classic gems in the mix too.
And considering the topic at hand, I think that should be taken either sarcastically or lightly.
No, honestly, like really entertaining B-movies can be so much fun. Like there's some really crappy movies that I love. Like I love them. I eat that stuff up. because it's just like there's this fun sort of spirit behind B-grade cinema.
Doug holds these regular B-movie nights. When we first got acquainted, I was a regular guest then. And then, what was it? About 2009 or so, I was working for Blockbuster Videos back when it used to exist.
Back in the day.
Yes.
Kind of near the end of its run.
Yeah. I worked for them, and then I left briefly, and then business was doing so poorly for them that they couldn't rehire me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact, when I left them, I tried to make it in Toronto, foolishly, and Toronto, there was no location there that could take me.
Yeah.
So, it was like...
Well, because the people who had that job, they wanted to stay there. Pry this job from my cold dead fingers,
But on top of that, the position that I had in Blockbuster, because business was so bad at the time, the hours were pretty much nothing.
So probably, one or two people on a shift at a time, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So circa 2009, business was really bad. At the time, I was starting to date somebody who turned out to be not that great for me. But that's a story for a completely different...
It's a story you shouldn't hear anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's a bad story. And not at all related to the plot of this podcast. So, she, however, was really into zombie films. So, to try and appease her or whatever, I was looking around because I got free rentals at Blockbuster, and I found one that was brand new to the shelves called Zombie Strippers, and I thought, perfect. So, I borrowed it. I took it over to her place. We watched it. We didn't get all the way through it. And then I went home and I watched it all the way through and thought it was absurd and interesting. Then I did a little bit more research into it and I found out about what it was based on and thematic principles and the philosophy it was indulging in, because Zombie Strippers is actually a really, really philosophically deep movie.
Continue.
Okay. The look on your face just then was a mixture of shock and disbelief.
Okay, yeah, I didn't record myself the look on that. I didn't look at the look on my face because I can't.
Yeah.
But I wish I did.
Yeah, no.
And thank you for sharing with the world with the look on my face.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
So anyway, it turns out that Zombie Strippers is based on a French play called Rhinoceroses. This French play came about shortly after World War II in France, right after communism and fascism, the Nazis and all of that were rolling into town. So after the war, the play debuted, and it's gone on to have a long, long history. Benedict Cumberbatch was in a version of it in London.
As a play, right?
As a play, yes. Okay. The source material, Rhinoceroses, the basic plot is there's alcoholic everyman who's kind of just content. People in his small fictional French village are randomly and for no good reason turning into rhinos.
Which, happens to all of us at one point or another.
It's a stage of life.
Really. Yeah. So it's a passage you have to walk through.
So people are just starting to turn to rhinos, and this everyman is left thinking, is it better to stay an individual or conform to the majority? Thematically, the play is about how people were adopting the Nazi mentality and siding over with communism and joining the group rather than being an individual and standing up for what's right. It also discusses theater of the absurd, which is a movement in theater born out of absurdism, which is a philosophical movement derived from existentialism. Existentialism takes the philosophical statement that life and the universe is inherently without meaning. Absurdism takes it one step further and says not only is that true, but it's okay. Therefore, the search for inherent meaning is ultimately absurd and pointless.
And so that sort of has roughly translated these days into something can completely happen by chance, and something can be completely random and bizarre, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's absurd. There's no reason behind it.
Yep. No meaning inherent to the thing itself. Any meaning in the world or the universe or our lives is something that we imbue on it, attach to it, and it's personal and not general.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Zombie Strippers is adapted allegedly from this French play, and if you replace the small French village with a strip club in the middle of the Nevada desert and rhinoceroses with zombies, then you basically have the plot.
To break it down a little more, a military team has gone into a base to discard a zombie outbreak. One of the military commandos has gotten bitten, and he knows his fate, so he escapes from the team. He runs off, and he accidentally finds himself in a strip joint.
An illegal underground strip joint.
An illegal underground strip joint. Inevitably, he turns into a zombie, because he got bit.
And that's just what happens.
Rules of zombification.
Yeah.
And then he bites one of the strippers in the throat and kills her. Now, my understanding is that the women, when they're turned into zombies, they still have some cognitive ability, but men do not?
Yeah, it was established in the first part of the movie that it stays pure with the X chromosome, but once you throw in a Y chromosome, just like in life, everything kind of goes to crap.
Yeah, sure. There's some humor, there's some sexist humor for you folks,
Yep.
because if you were to throw that joke the other way around, you'd be torn to shreds.
I would be willing to tear someone to threads that way as well. Sexism is sexism.
But anyway, LOL, just a joke, right? Okay, so the zombie outbreak, they're keeping it contained because the strippers are just that much more interesting and exciting to the onlookers when they are dead.
So much money. They make it rain.
They make it rain money. So the business owner, he's taking advantage of this profitable turn. But of course, like all great things, when it comes to zombie movies, you can only keep them contained for so long.
Yep.
I think that basically covers the plot.
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about the deeper meanings of the film, since you insist that there are some. So
there are a lot.
So I kind of stopped to think about it a little bit as well. Mm-hmm. I was trying to go like, okay, what is going on in this film that is like going on deeper? I think maybe there's this sort of this level of first of all, a comment on capitalism and how ultimately the pursuit of money supersedes the care of anything else, including human life, which is a severe problem with the global capitalist market.
Yes, it is.
Where that is the number one pursuit of companies.
Yeah.
So this was that same thing on a much smaller scale, where human life is in danger, being compromised, but
business is unsympathetic.
Businesses, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's that level. I also saw a level of sort of a comment on men's social detachment from women when it comes to that kind of onlooking relationship, and how like the more dead they were and the more exciting they were, the more the men were into it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's sort of a hyperbole on social detachment from sexuality.
And, objectification of women and treating them as things rather than whole, complex people.
So that's a sort of an interesting comment on that part of, I won't say masculinity, because that seems like a deterioration of the word masculinity, but of an unhealthy sexual attitude of men.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well put.
What about you? What are the deeper things you saw in this film?
Oh, well, throughout the movie, they touch on it bit by bit, but there is questions about ultimate truth and the meaning of their circumstances and lives in general. There's commentary about conformity, whether to join the norm or to stand out and dare to be an individual. And it's generally just absurdist. They discuss Nietzschean philosophy, existentialism, absurdism. Like, it is literally sprinkled all throughout. Mm-hmm. And, as much as it is a silly B-zombie movie with Jenna Jameson, it is a deeply, deeply philosophical movie. It's surprising how philosophical it is, because it's just like a terrible zombie movie. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to mince words here. I recognize it's a bad movie, but it is very deep and very philosophical.
Well, I'll comment a little bit more on that shortly, but when I get into like what didn't work for me about the film. But let's talk about what I did like. I was somewhat amused, although it was barely explored. I was kind of amused by the world they kind of built. You see a little bit of that in the very opening scene where it's a news report. I was kind of getting into the military, like that group of characters. I was kind of interested in that story. What worked for you?
Okay. For me, what works with this is all of the philosophy. You know, the themes about conformity and capitalism and standing out and daring to be an individual, and how usually joining the pack means sacrificing who you are and what you believe in for the goals of mindless, flesh-eating zombies. I love those comments. I hope to pass that on to my kids if I ever have any. And I'm so glad that you finally agreed to watch this movie.
Oh, I think we didn't expand on that fully.
Right.
In that earlier, I was saying that I've been declining to watch this movie for a very long time, but Mason's persistence was what made me watch it, because I guess it didn't look like my kind of B movie. Because I have issues, but with certain things. I just felt that it looked to me from the trailer and the title to be tasteless schlock, and I didn't really want to subject myself to that.
Yeah, but then like you'll turn around and say, "Come to my party, we'll watch The Room."
Now, to be fair, I didn't really want to watch The Room. I've seen The Room. And then there were a lot of friends who were coming who really wanted to watch The Room. So I bent for them as well. The Room has its time and place. And the B movie night is one of the only places where it's...
No, the place is the trash.
Look, you're not going to get a disagreement from me. I don't. The Room is you need teaspoons of that at a time. You can't have the full dosage. But anyway, Mason finally convinced me to watch Zombie Strippers for the sake of the podcast, so we can have some discussions about it. And I did. I agreed. Except he used Spider-Man 3 as leverage.
Yes.
He's like, I had to watch Spider-Man 3 for it, which I was like, that was your idea.
It was my idea. However,
Yes.
I suggested it because I knew it would be good for our podcast.
All right, and you know what? And I do like that episode. I thought it was a very good discussion we had.
It was a great
about
discussion.
Spider-Man 3. So with that in mind, I'm like, okay, fine. I concede. I'll watch Zombie Strippers with you.
Yep.
Because he's so insistent that there was much more to it than just zombie strippers.
Yes.
Now, okay.
Although, to be fair, that in and of itself is kind of all the target audience really needs.
So, let's talk about what didn't work for me, what I didn't like about that movie.
All right.
And okay, so I'm not going to say that the things that you said are wrong and that these philosophical ideas are not sprinkled in. But would you really say that it's really deeply philosophical? Because let's say that you have a huge pot and you filled it with sewage.
Okay.
And you sprinkle some oregano in it. Would you say that is an oregano-based soup that you're making? Or did you sprinkle oregano in some sewage?
Okay.
Because I'm telling you right now,
Yeah.
Zombie Strippers was not just what I expected. It was way worse than I expected. I'm sorry, this movie is complete and utter filth and trash and complete waste of time and energy and brain power. Because I mean, the thing is that you're talking about, like, there's little conversations here and there, but like easily 50 to 60% of it is just stripping. It's just girls stripping and like showing like just naked women with big fake breasts and then for half of their strippers routines they're dead, and so they're zombified women, and then they're shooting ping pong balls out of their VJs, and it's just like, what is this trash that you have made me watch in defense of absurdism?
Okay, so
oh my God, Mason, why did you make me do this?
Okay, Doug, let me ask you this. Would you call a block of cheese cheese or art?
It's cheese.
Okay, now take that block of cheese and carve it to look like one of Vincent van Gogh's self-portraits. Is it cheese or is it art?
It's both.
Okay, my position with zombie strippers is that it is both. It is a terrible, pardon my language, craptastic excuse to give Jenna Jameson more work in conventional media. But on top of that, it is also very philosophical and very deep. Just because they throw in that message in an utterly trashy and terrible movie does not automatically negate that it is not philosophical think piece.
Look, if we're going to get into the talk about like what's art and what's not, like that's a conversation that can't be won. You could take a crap on a canvas and smush it under glass and frame it, and somebody's gonna say, "Yeah, that's art." It doesn't mean that it's good.
Well, no, but like what I'm saying is that this is both of those things.
I'm not saying that those philosophical ideas aren't there, but I'd say that like you have to waft through so much.
Yeah, but
to, like, get,
but those
ideas,
ideas,
the little bits.
No, those ideas drive the theme. Like if you throw out those ideas completely, the movie is basically just vapid dialogue and dancing. It's those.
That's what the movie is. It's vapid dialogue and dancing.
No. Those conversations drive the theme of the movie about individuality, conformity, the absurd, existentialism, Nietzschean philosophy. Like that is the substance of the movie.
Yes, but that is like as you mentioned, almost all the good things are pretty much hijacked from the Rhino play. It sounds like the Rhino play sounds like it's really worth watching.
It is.
Now they've taken some of the substance from that and made it into garbage.
Yeah.
and now you're, instead of like going like everyone should watch the Rhino play, you're going like people should watch Zombie Strippers. But there's nothing really worthwhile that Zombie Strippers brings to the table. Anything of substance is directly stolen from something. Except the thing is, they don't even turn into zombies randomly. They turn into zombies because they're bit, like every other zombie movie.
Yeah. But like it's taking those ideas and making them accessible for the kind of audience that wouldn't seek it out. Like if today, instead of talking about this movie, we said, "Oh, we found this play, we saw it. Let's talk about it." It would come across as a little more highbrow than the audience that Zombie Strippers is targeting, right?
So you're saying that they've made a movie for horny idiots,
yes,
who are probably going to miss all of the deeper meaning and dialogue.
No, they're only going to be horny idiots for about 2 minutes of the movie, and then
they're going to turn it off because there's nothing else going on. You see, there's also an inherent irony in a movie that sort of makes a subtle statement about objectification of women, and then proceeds to objectify all the women for the entire movie.
Yeah,
that's like a gross irony.
It is.
However, even the military women, they both get their shirts torn off. It's like these are the characters that aren't the strippers.
However, this movie technically completely passes the Bechdel test.
Oh my god.
I know, right? What's the other test that you were talking about last time?
The Makomore test.
Yes, it passes that too. Yes, it does.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Now, isn't this a cruel twist of irony in which one of the most disgusting sexist films I've ever seen passes tests of feminism?
Yeah.
It's I mean, If anything, this is just like decrediting those texts.
No, I would argue that by exemplifying such objectification, that it is merely exhibiting the flaws within our current culture.
I mean, really? Like, are you really like trying to justify
I'm not trying
the
to
blatant sexism of this movie?
I'm not trying to like justify the blatant sexism by any means. I'm just saying that how can you effectively comment on something without exhibiting it?
Well, there's a difference between like, okay, I didn't go into this movie thinking, oh, it's going to be good, clean family fun. Like, I expected nudity.
Yeah.
It's called Zombie Strippers. And I expected violence and blood splatter. Like, that comes with the territory. But
to be fair, the violence and blood spatter in this movie, very low key.
I mean, it's got moments, but like, yeah, it's not the worst zombie movie I've seen for that kind of thing. But this was so like indulgent in the stripping. Like, there was so much of it. It was such a high percentage of the film.
Yeah.
That you can't make the argument anymore. It's not commenting on anything. There's a point where it's just stripping, man. Like, it's just women taking off their clothes to cheering men going, whoa, this is awesome. Like, actually literally going like that.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how you can even say like, oh, it's part of the commentary. It's not part of the commentary. It's just stripping. They're literally, I could go down the street to the Paramount down on Columbia and watch the same thing, only the women will be real and not dead. It's just...
Well, maybe on the inside they would be.
On the outside, they'll be alive.
Yes.
There was a point where I couldn't stand beside it anymore. And, and I already, like, my giving the movie a chance, I was a little bit on shaky ground. I'm like, no, I gotta give it the chance.
Yeah.
And then scene after scene of fake boobs being wiggled around, and it just became so tasteless. So
but then
pointless.
again, we do live in quite a tasteless, in-your-face culture, especially with treatment of women in the media.
But there's a point also where it's like, why should I watch this? Right? I'm better off. I'd get more out of just watching porn, and I'm not.
Which could be said to be another comment on how media relates to and handles women, right? I'm coming out on top today.
This wasn't me defending porn. If that's what you're thinking. I'm saying that like the substance in this movie could only be carried so far before I realized I was just watching softcore pornography. And it's like, well, I mean, if I'm watching softcore pornography and not even a little bit turned on, why aren't I watching hardcore pornography and actually getting something out of this for about 15 minutes? It's like, why? I just there just reaches a point where it's like I could have like gone and got a coffee and come back and they're like, oh, they're stripping again. Well, I guess I didn't miss anything. It's like, and that's a horrible place to be in when you're watching a movie, when you can leave and come back and nothing crucial has happened. That's just boring, bad filmmaking.
Well, I will agree with you that the dancing scenes did take a little too long, and they could have
a little. It's like 60% of the movie.
Yeah,
and that's like me kind of rounding down. I think it's like
it was a little too much. I think could have been done better and differently.
Oh, everything in the movie could have been done better. It was. I mean, okay, you say that yes, there's some philosophical ideas sprinkled in.
It's mostly philosophical.
It's still
ideas.
a lousy script.
Well, yes,
and it's still really shoddily acted. Like, it's really bad acting, and it's not even a good looking movie either. It's like the colors, and it's gross to look at. It's a gross movie. It's just like nothing was done well as far as I'm concerned.
No, it wasn't.
But there were some rhino ideas in there. So.
Yeah, you can come for 2 minutes and then stay for the philosophy.
Well, at least we get some puns out of this.
Yes. If anything, that is a benefit. But yeah, there are a lot of flaws with it, but it is very, very philosophical, and that's what I like about it.
I still would hesitate to call it a philosophical movie. I would say that it's a really sleazy movie with philosophical moments.
Yeah, but, again, you take away the philosophy, the substance of the movie is gone. So it's...
Yeah, no, I agree with that, 100%. I'm just saying that, it's not like there's a lot of substance to hold on to. Do you remember the Batman the Animated Series?
Yes.
With Clayface?
Yes.
And how when it started to rain, he really lost his consistency. It didn't take a lot. If you slice out any bits of those philosophy, this movie's Clayface, man, it's just gonna drag down the drain.
If you take the Hulk and remove the Hulk, then the substance of the movie is gone, right? So, this movie, the philosophy is the superpowers in a superhero film.
But the superpowers in the superhero film play a large part in the story.
Aha!
They
They play a large part in the story here because the philosophical ideas the characters are struggling with affect their choices in the plot. Whether to conform or stand out and fight.
So I kind of see that. I kind of see the point. But I feel like we didn't get to really see the struggle too clearly in the individual strippers. There's a few of them that I got confused as to which one was which.
Well, yeah.
For example, I thought the girl who found the group of the zombies in the cage.
Yeah.
I thought that was the super religious girl at first. Especially since there was this sort of religious imagery of her spreading out her arms. But then it wasn't her.
No.
It was someone else. I'm like, oh, well then what did I miss?
Yeah.
I just, at the very least, if one of the things you're arguing is that there's this struggle within each of the characters on whether they should conform and when they conform, I didn't even get a strong sense of that struggle. I feel like that aspect wasn't even done very well.
I think that it traces back to a problem not only this movie has, but a lot of other movies that are rooted in an ideology. And when a script, I think, is so rooted firmly in a ideological notion, the writer comes at it with their mind already made up about it, rather than, exploring it with, the empty husk of the character. That is definitely a flaw with zombie strippers, but it's also a flaw with a lot of Christian cinema and any other piece of cinema that is rooted primarily in its ideology. It comes at it from one direction and then says, this is the choice that you, the audience, needs to make.
I like, for the first time, it's almost like a statement to be made. This is a problem with zombie strippers and Christian cinema. It's there's a lot of problems with Christian cinema.
Mostly that it's bad.
A lot of it, unfortunately. I mean, the thing is, it's not like we're not talking about a Christian movie.
No.
But yeah, one of the main problems with the Christian cinema is that it is trying to sell a point to people who already believe that point. It doesn't care enough about characters and story and the essentials of good storytelling. Yeah, it is based off of trying to make a point rather than trying to make a good story.
Exactly. And one of the absolutely major, huge flaws in Zombie Strippers is that it pushes its ideology. It's an absurdist piece of cinema, and it says that if you think that the universe itself has meaning, you are wrong, and the zombie strippers will show you that. So it gives all of its characters the opportunity to make one of two choices, either conform or stand out. Sometimes if you don't make a choice, you're just sucked in to the masses and forced to conform.
You know which movie taught me to stand out of the crowd? I'll tell you
what movie?
A goofy movie.
You and me both. You and me both.
Stand out into the crowd, even if I gotta shout
out loud.
I'm not gonna lie.
Till mine is the only face you'll see. I gotta stand out.
Oh man, if anyone was actually listening this far on the podcast, they just tuned out.
Yes, they did. I should never sing.
Was that you legitimately trying, or was it it sounded more like a cartoony version of you?
A little both.
Oh wow. Alright, zombie strippers.
Yeah.
Let's get into cast and crew. This is the baby of Jay Lee, who apparently doesn't have his own Wikipedia page,
which is more revealing.
He wrote and directed and edited the film, and I think he was a producer as well. Definitely, this is his baby. The current movie he's working on now is called Gutter Slut. It's in post-production right now.
Oh.
It's probably a really a masterful film. We'll hear more about it coming an Oscar season. This was after his movie The Slaughter, which I've never heard before. This guy likes zombies. He's a zombie filmmaker. He's gone on to do Star Chicks, a TV series, 2 episodes of that. Alice Kills, Alice with a Y, Allyce. It just looks like he's a B-movie horror director, and everything he's done since has been that genre. Death Chair, The Chair That Eats, Area 407 Part 2.
Well,
oh, no, this one's got dinosaurs. Ooh. It's a little more my style.
Well, I'm glad the Area 407 franchise is doing so well that they got a second movie. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
he hasn't really gone on to do much of anything else. He looks strangely like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's weird. Oh, it's like Joseph Gordon-Levitt mixed with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
I kind of see that. So, yeah, biggest name in this movie is Jenna Jameson, who plays Kat, although I wouldn't have known her name.
So you mean you weren't exactly remembering faces?
No, I remembered her face just fine. I didn't catch most of the names.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they had them, but I think they just all the women insulted each other for the most part.
Yeah, they did.
So she's an ex-porn actress.
In case you didn't already know.
Yeah, but it looks like her, or maybe not ex. It looks like some of these Nikita Loves Jenna. Yeah, I think she may still be doing it. So, I mean...
Well, good for her.
Yeah. Horrorween is another...
Oh my God.
Cartoon one.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds charming. So, Robert Englund is the one of the main standout actors who's had a career outside of this movie. He is best known as Freddy Krueger.
Yes.
The very famous slasher from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise.
May he rest in peace.
Well, he's alive.
Wait, I thought he died. Because somebody from the Freddy films died, didn't they?
Somebody, but not him. He is alive and well. He's still ticking. It wouldn't be the first time we've accidentally declared someone dead on the show.
No, it's not.
I at one point was like, I think it was during one of the Toy Story episodes, I mentioned Don Rickles having passed away, and then looked and like, nope, he's alive.
He is.
My bad.
Okay.
He's old, but
Yeah.
he's alive. So he's not dead. Robert Englund is alive and kicking. He's not Freddy Krueger anymore. That torch was passed along. But he played Freddy Krueger for the majority of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies until the reboot, I think, in just a few years ago.
With the guy from Watchmen.
Yeah.
Who played Rorschach.
Yeah. Admittedly, I haven't seen any of the movies.
I
because
haven't.
I'm not much of a slasher film fan, but I hear that I should definitely see the original, which has a very young Johnny Depp. Strippers versus werewolves, so he's got kind of a B-movie repertoire these days as well. But one of the Robert Englund, one of the movies that I really liked him in was Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer, a little-known Canadian flick about a guy who steps up and takes on monsters. I've had this one at a B-movie night. And
I actually remember it.
I actually find it a really endearing flick. Like, not perfect, but a lot of fun. Robert Englund has a big part in that one. Anyway, it's hard for me to get into many of the other actors and actresses because I don't know them.
If you do, you've only seen them for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I wish them the best of luck in their careers post-Zombie Strippers. Would you recommend this movie? Who would you recommend it to?
Fans of zombies, fans of philosophy, fans of existentialism, fans of the absurd, fans of strippers.
If that's the case, if you really love strippers, visit your local strip joint. Support a local business.
Yes, help young people get through college.
Oh God, I can't even say that with a straight face. Okay, so how many stars would you give this one?
Oh, 2.5.
2.5. Okay, all right. Cool. All right, so I would recommend this to. Okay, first of all, generally no, I would not recommend it. Even if you're a B-movie fan, because I'm a B-movie fan, but I like my B-movies cheesy, but not sleazy. And this one is definitely way on the sleazy side. It is cheesy, but it is way sleazy, and it's a gross film. I don't like it, and I would hesitate to recommend it to anybody myself. I mean, okay, if you are the kind of person who sees the title Zombie Strippers and says, "Oh, I gotta watch that," then it delivers.
Yes.
It delivers on Zombie Strippers.
Yes.
So
There are zombies and there are strippers, and there are zombies who are strippers. And there's also a great deal of philosophy and commentary about society and culture. It passes both of the feminist tests that we know of.
I would hesitate to put feminism anywhere on this movie's radar of like what it was attempting to achieve.
But attempting to deliberately and doing so haphazardly, is there really much of a difference?
Yeah, I'd say so. Intent to murder and manslaughter are different charges, my friend. They are different charges. So
Yeah, but in the end, somebody's still dead, so... Really?
yeah. All right. Well, if you accidentally kill somebody, I think you're going to want those manslaughter charges rather than the first degree. You know what that is? First degree murder.
Something like that.
I haven't killed anyone, so I'm not too up on the legal lingo in this regard.
Anyway.
I gotta say, this is one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time.
I can't wait to bring it to your next B movie night.
And I will not be present. If everyone's insistent, I'll put it on and I'm going for a walk. Because I've seen it once and I'm not watching it again. I did want to just turn it off for a lot of the movie, which is hard. Like, I've sat through some crap, man. I have sat through some garbage.
Like The Room.
Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't watch most of that during the B movie. I adequately distracted myself with socializing.
Okay.
So, but I have watched The Room enough times that I know I don't really want to watch The Room anymore. If I'm going to watch The Room, it's going to be at the Rio Theater because that was fun.
Okay.
That was fun.
We're rambling
I
now.
can't give it any stars. No, 0. Just it's a waste of time. Don't even bother unless you love zombie strippers. Okay.
Have fun.
Thanks so much for listening to the Checking the Gate podcast. This is Doug signing off.
And Mason.
And we're moving on.